Next on Local 6 at 6, remembering the Egners Ferry Bridge disaster on its one-year anniversary. We reflect on the aftermath and how it affected one community.
Plus, why firefighters paid a visit to a Girl Scout camp in Marshall County this morning.
Plus, marching for a change, the message that gun control advocates took to the streets for in Washington. Local 6 at 6 starts right now.
Just bone chilling because you knew something bad had happened, but you didn't know where or what.
Business owners in one small town recall the terrifying night part of the Egners Ferry Bridge collapsed. First at 6, it's a date not many in our area will soon forget, January 26, 2012.
That's right, just after 8 o'clock 1 year ago tonight, a portion of the Egners Ferry Bridge ended up in the water and on top of the Delta Mariner. This video was taken the very next day. It shows a span of the bridge mangled on the front end of the Delta Mariner.
Yeah, the vessel was heading through Kentucky Lake en route to Cape Canaveral, Florida, but it hit a snag when it hit the bridge. There were drivers on the bridge, but luckily they stopped just in time before going over.
In 1 year's time, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet put out a $7 million bid on the rebuilding project. Louisville's Hall Construction won, and the bid completed that process 4 months later, just 3 days before its Memorial Day deadline.
And in April, the Coast Guard held a week-long hearing asking the ship's crew how it could have happened. That report is due out any time now in one of the hardest hit groups, the business owners near the bridge.
The owner of Brass Lantern in Aurora filed a notice of claims citing economic losses of more than $30,000. The owners say the bridge closure almost closed them down.
But there is a bright spot in town. The owner of Marquita's Place saw an increase in business. Ginger Henson says the repair crews and the interest in people wanting to see the bridge made her sales jump from 2011 to 2012.
We can't say here that we lost any business because right after the accident happened, our business picked up and it stayed that way throughout the summer.
And coming up at 10, I'll have more of my conversation with Henson, including the message of support she wants her community to hear.
2 people are in jail tonight facing drug charges. Investigators say the pair sold drugs to an undercover officer while their 6-week-old infant was in the car. Justin McLean and Brittany Hoover, shown here, face a number of charges, including trafficking and possession of a controlled substance. Investigators say the 2 traveled from Lone Oak to a gas station in Mayfield to sell illegal narcotics to an undercover officer. After the deal, the 2 tried to drive away when sheriff's deputies and police swooped in to arrest them. That is when they found their 6-week-old infant in the car. The Graves County Sheriff's Office worked alongside the McCracken County Sheriff's Department, Mayfield Police, and Pennyroyal Narcotics Task Force.
Firefighters in Carlisle County stayed busy this morning putting out a house fire. The fire started just after 3:30 at the home on Orchard Street in Bardwell. Bardwell's Mayor Philip King says the fire does not appear to be suspicious and faulty wiring could be the cause. A couple was in the middle of moving out at the time of the fire. They were not home. And a faulty fan in a heating unit is likely the cause of why these firefighters were called to the Bear Creek Girl Scout camp in Marshall County, Kentucky. A group of scrapbookers were at the camp around 7:30 this morning when they reported smoke coming from one of the buildings. No one was injured and there was no damage to the camp.
Now your Weather Authority first forecast.
Pretty nice start to the weekend for us today. A good deal of sunshine and temperatures that warmed well into the 40s. Well, we've got those clear skies for us this evening and temperatures beginning to drop a little bit. We're at 30 in Mount Vernon, 32 Harrisburg, still holding on to the mid and upper 30s around Paducah, and even 43 in Dyersburg. But we're going to see those clouds moving back in this evening and those winds turning around out of the southeast. So that will keep temperatures from really crashing tonight. In fact, by 7 o'clock, we're still talking about generally the low to mid 30s across the area, and you notice those numbers not moving too much as we take you toward about 10, 11 o'clock tonight. We will have a look at when we see some wet weather coming in with those clouds. That's all ahead in your Weather Authority forecast.
Thank you, Kyle. We have new details now on a story we brought to you earlier this month.
Yeah, the McCracken County Sheriff's Department has arrested 3 more people in connection with a 9-month-long investigation.
It all started back in April 2012 when a mother reported damage to her daughter's Honda Accord that was parked in their driveway there in the 700 block of Highland Church Road. A vandal slashed the tires, scratched the paint, and busted both side mirrors and the back window. In all, about $7,000 worth of damage. However, The vandal left some blood behind.
Detectives tested it and matched it to 19-year-old Jacob Samaro of Paducah. That's his picture there. Detectives say Samaro did have a motive and refused to give them a DNA sample without a search warrant. They arrested Samaro and booked him in the McCracken County Jail on January 17th.
Police have now made 3 additional arrests in connection to the crime after a series of interviews with suspects and witnesses. 22-year-old Sean O'Brien, 21-year-old Evan Winters, and 22-year-old Andrew Kennedy, all of Paducah, were arrested yesterday.
The 3 were charged with first-degree criminal mischief. They are in the McCracken County Jail tonight on $5,000 bond. Continuing coverage now on a community college falsely reporting test scores. The Associated Press reports West Kentucky Community and Technical College has resolved issues around inaccurately reported test scores that led the school to return funds to the state. The state began investigating the school last year after a complaint that test scores were being altered. An audit found inaccuracies during the last 3 years, which allowed the school to collect more than $137,000 it was not qualified for. President Barbara Vesey said the school cooperated with the investigation, and records do show that at least 7 employees resigned.
Well, if you're an Ameren, Illinois utility customer, you might want to search your couch for some loose change. Your gas bill could be going up. The company filed a request for a $50 million rate increase. That's to help recover costs of delivering natural gas, replacing pipes, and modernizing equipment. If the request is approved, an extra $2 to $4 will be added to your bill.
We're going to do a little bragging here on Local 6, and we probably deserve it, but this weekend many of our colleagues are at the Kentucky News Photographers Association's Award and Banquet in Louisville, Kentucky, and for the 2nd straight year, WPSD Local 6 was named the Division II Station of the Year.
That's right. Not just that, our photojournalist Char Darnell named Photographer of the Year. In fact, we racked up even more awards last night and tonight. For the full list, head to our web channel, WPSDLocal6.com.
They work very hard here.
Absolutely.
So
it's good to
giving a shout
give a little
out.
recognition.
Yeah.
Well, local folks got together this morning for a special prayer vigil. Coming up, why they gathered together for prayer today and what they were focusing on.
But up next, March for Gun Control across the nation. We'll tell you what these demonstrators want from Congress.
Your breaking news and weather authority with Todd Faulkner, Brianna Connor, Weather Authority Kyle Mounts, and Andy Waterman Sports. You're watching Local 6 at 6 in high definition.
Thousands of people marched through Washington, D.C. today advocating for stricter gun control laws. They walked from Capitol Hill to the Washington Monument, many of them carrying signs of memories of those who died in the Sandy Hook massacre. Organizers of the march are calling on Congress to pass a ban on military-style assault weapons and high-capacity ammunition magazines. Coming up at 10, more on that rally and others like it across the country, including comments from demonstrators.
Some local folks gathered this morning to pray for a better future, not only for themselves, but for everyone in nearby communities. The special prayer vigil at Bald Knob Cross in Alto Pass, Illinois this morning focused on prayer for the men and women in southern Illinois who are without a job, specifically those affected by the closures of Tams Correctional Center and 2 other centers in Murfreesboro.
I think it brings hope and a message of encouragement and healing that the Lord has not left us and that we are still under His care, and ultimately He is the arbiter of all things.
Organizers say when things get tough, it's important to also look to each other for help and support.
Funeral services were held today for Cardinals great Stan Musial. During the 2-hour Mass at the Cathedral Basilica in St. Louis, Musial was remembered as a Hall of Famer on and off of the field. During his 22-year career with the Cardinals, he won 7 National League batting titles and the team won 3 World Series championships. Musial died last week at his home in St. Louis at the age of 92.
Your 7-day forecast includes a temperature spread of about 45 degrees, so you're going to need everything from the winter coat to the lighter jacket and even the umbrella. We'll map it all out hour by hour. You're watching Local 6 at 6. Sure hope you soaked up some of that sunshine we enjoyed this afternoon, because now that the sun has set, we're not going to see a lot of sun for the next several days as an active weather pattern is getting ready to unfold. We'll talk more about that in a second. The view from the Ways Past Sky Tracker, top U.S. Bank into downtown Paducah, shows we've still got a few clouds around, northeast wind at 5 miles per hour, and temperatures that have dipped down into the mid and upper 30s at 37, humidity 48% for us. As we take a wide view of ultimate Doppler, you can see generally clear skies, but already those clouds starting to work back in toward the Missouri boot heel, and we will see increasing clouds as we take you through tonight. 41 right now in Sikeston, 39 Paducah, 36 in Marion, 34 in the Harrisburg area, and we are going to see those numbers steadily fall off tonight, thanks in part to the clouds and also those winds turning out of the east-northeast early this evening to the southeast overnight. So just 31 degrees at 11 o'clock tonight. And then by Sunday morning, we are certainly going to start seeing those weather changes move our way. Warm front down to the south, that's going to be bringing in that warm air. We're talking about numbers approaching 70 degrees in the extended forecast, but not so much tomorrow. We'll have those clouds around by 5 o'clock Sunday morning. Temperature of 26 in Harrisburg, near 40 in Dyersburg and Hayti. At that point, I still think we're generally dry. Then could see a couple of those light showers moving in around Union City as we head toward mid to late morning. 40 in Paris, 39 in Paducah. Atmosphere is still fairly dry right now, so it's going to take a little bit of time to saturate and get any of that precipitation to actually fall to the ground. Now, as far as frozen precipitation, it doesn't look like we're going to see a lot. If you do, it may be as far south as Route 13, but probably closer to I-64, maybe around Murfreesboro. And we're talking only a little bit of some sleet, some brief freezing rain that mixes in. Not expecting much in the way of impacts from this. And then much of the ice actually going to be well to the north across northern portions of Illinois and into Iowa. Temperatures by 1 o'clock with some showers around the area near 40 degrees. But you can see that warmer air moving in from the southwest will be approaching 50 by 4 o'clock. Still some rain showing up on radar. Temperatures around 38 in Carmi. So it's going to take a little bit of time before we warm things around Mount Vernon. Still about 40 in the evening, 49 though in Hayti. And it looks like those showers still hanging on across southern Illinois by 6 o'clock and then start to get more of a break as we head toward 10. But even notice then, numbers aren't really going to fall off. In fact, I think we'll see a slow rise in those numbers. So we may not hit our actual forecast high of 50 for tomorrow until we head toward closer to midnight tomorrow night. As far as rainfall amounts concerned, generally a quarter of an inch or less as we go through your Sunday. And then on Monday, we'll stay unsettled, but a smaller chance for rain, only about 30 to 40% chance of seeing a few showers around. Mainly, we're going to be talking about those mild temperatures moving in and then watching a cold front come in noon on Tuesday around Kansas City. That's going to bring the chance for some strong to severe storms as we head into Tuesday evening and overnight. Already a slight risk in place for much of the area. Again, that goes Tuesday evening into the overnight. So the Weather Authority going to be tracking that for you as we get a little bit closer. 50 degrees though on Sunday. 50% chance for showers around the area. 64 on Monday, 40% chance for showers, a few thunderstorms, and those winds turning a bit breezy out of the southwest, but that is what helps to bring in numbers near 70 by Tuesday. 7-day planning forecast for your weekends always in view. Then on Wednesday, we turn the corner again. 50 degrees will be our high. That'll be close to midnight as temperatures then will fall during the day. May end as a few rain, snow showers. Doesn't look to be a big deal for us. 40 degrees on Thursday. A little more of a reality check as those numbers return to lows in the 20s, highs in the 30s and 40s next week. But an active couple of days to get through.
Yeah.
You said the S word, and we're not talking about that S word, and we're not talking about the word showers either. You said snow.
Snow on Wednesday, maybe a little bit of snow showers as this system wraps up, and then tomorrow. Brief little mix across southern Illinois, parts of southeast Missouri, but that should change over very quick, if any at all.
Okay, very good. Our ears perked up a little bit when you said that.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Well, the floor of the CFSB Center looked a lot more like a big lake today for the 29th annual West Kentucky Boat and Outdoor Show.
Yeah, along with the boats, there were also RVs on display, a kids section with a fish pond, and a women's section. The event was free, but for the first time this year, 4 local high schools worked the doors in exchange for donations.
Just last year, the Kentucky High School Athletic Association sanctioned bass fishing as a team sport at the high school level. So it was a great opportunity and a good match for them to come in and work the doors and accept donations, help support their programs.
Any money donated today will be split between the bass fishing programs at Murray, Callaway County, Trigg County, and Marshall County High Schools.
Good cause there. And coming up in sports, it's been almost 3 years since Louisville lost 3 basketball games in a row. And avoid that streak, the Cardinals needed a win over Georgetown today.
Plus, Murray State continues their 2-game road trip at Jacksonville State today. We'll have highlights from that one next. You're watching WPSD Local 6 at 6.
Blue Raiders was just too much in the second half. Knight opened up the half with 3 straight field goals. Here's one of them to put MTSU up 11, and Western goes down 72-53.
Oh, man.
Gotta love Saturdays. I just got so much action by the time I'm done with sports. Bad breath.
I'm like, oh,
did you swallow it all?
I did. I did just once.
You're the hardest working man in
I'll
sports,
take that from
Andy.
you in a minute.
Very good.
We appreciate it. Thank
you, Andy.
Well, birthdays come only once a year, so it's not surprising people plan huge shindigs to celebrate. In fact, kids and their furry friends came out to celebrate a very special dog's birthday today for a very special cause.
Yeah, coming up, the reason people and animals of all kinds came out to celebrate the Big Pooch Party. You're watching WBSD Local 6 at 6.
Balloons, a bounce house, and a very special unbirthday.
Unbirthday. Today, a photography studio turned into a big party for a dog named Belle and some of her furry friends.
Yep, here's a look at the shindig where kids ages 1 to 7 got their faces painted, and of course, a lot of them spent a big chunk of their time bouncing in the playhouse. But this party, not just for kids. Some of Belle's canine friends came dressed in their best. Now, normally people bring presents for the birthday girl or boy, but because this is an unbirthday party, Belle is planning to give all her gifts away.
Animal shelter is near and dear to our hearts. Actually, my late husband and I started the group that built the animal shelter here, and of course, everybody loves animals, so it's something that really needs some help. They're always needing donations.
If you didn't make it out today, not a problem. You can still drop your donations off at Well Studio. It's at 120 Southeast Street in Mayfield.
Very nice. And quick weather?
Yeah, tomorrow we start to see our changes move in. Some rain showers, but temperatures warm near 50 by the evening.
Very good. Thank you for watching Local 6 at 6.
Y'all have a great evening.